we are here today to give you information that you don't normally get at church.
We come your way every Monday morning, 11 to 12.
Call in with your comment or your questions, and we'll be glad to try and answer them for you. If we don't have the answer today, we will get it to you on a message.
Don't you dare miss it.
This is Congressman Cedric Richmond, and you're watching the New Orleans Talk Network.
Hi, this is Stan Schofield, and I'm inviting all of my KWK family and my family to watch Church Without Walls, 11 o'clock on Mondays, for the greatest and latest show around. Thank you.
I'm Cynthia Lee Shang, and you're watching Church Without Walls on New Orleans Talk Network.
Hi, I'm Sheriff Joe Lopinto, and you are watching the New Orleans Talk Network.
This program does not reflect the views and opinions of the New Orleans Talk Network. Viewer discretion is advised.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. You are listening and you are watching Church Without Walls in the studio of the New Orleans Talk Network. My name is Charles Stewart, along with the co-host, Reverend Dr. Anthony Williams. We come your way every Monday morning, 11 to 12 Central Standard Time. We thank you for watching. We thank you for listening. And we thank you for sharing some of your time and some of your day with us. We in the studio of the New Orleans Talk Network in Marrero, Louisiana. We come your way to knock down every wall that stands in the way of God's people. We are Church Without Walls. You is a part of the church. And so we invite you every Monday morning to come and share and spend an hour with us. Let us know that you love this country, you love your family, and I know you love your church family. And if you love God, well, you love everybody else. And Dr. William was preaching in his sermon yesterday. He said, first seek the kingdom of heaven, everything else will be added. So I said to my sister and brother who listened this morning, if you love God and love yourself, automatically you love other people. And that's what Dr. William and myself, we come to share our love with our friends and throughout this country. And I want to say to those that are listening, our topic is open. I would say you can just look at it, talk what you know or feel, talk what you feel today. Because it's an open topic today. We're dealing with, do people in this country care about this country? Is they just satisfied with pleasing themselves? And I say it again, the topic today is the people in the United States, do they care about this country or do they just want what they want? And I don't know how Dr. Williams, how the Holy Spirit guided him this morning, but it's on my mind that people want what they want. They don't too much... they say they want this president, they want this councilman, they want this governor, but it boils down to regards who in office, long as people get what they want. I remember years ago, Dr. William, when I used to listen to the news when I started paying. I used to be a workaholic, but I always paid some attention to politics. And I always say I want to be a Republican because You know, with the Christian value that I had, Dr. William, that's all Republicans talk about, the values. They against abortion. They was against most people that we would consider unrighteous people. And I said, man, that's a party I want to be a part of, because they were conservative, and Dr. William, I think most African Americans is more conservative than most people. We had to be conservative, Doc. I mean, when you say conservative, do people really know what it means? When they say family value, I mean, African American, we always, Dr. William, we had to have family value. We always had to be conservative in our finances and how we treat people, because we were brought up to be that way, Dr. William. And a lot of African Americans, I said to them, a lot of them, they may be a Democrat, but they got Republican value. But as I live and as I get older, Dr. William, I find out that a lot of Republicans have Democrat consider value.
See, Dr. Charles, we have to remember that the word conservative can be used in incremental value, if I can put it that way. The word conservative, you can be conservating the things of the world, and you can be conservating the things that are spiritual. Now, you got to determine which is more valuable to you. You know, if you put value on worldly things, then that's where your heart is going to be.
Yeah.
If you put value on spiritual things, then you're going to be concerned with what's going on with the individual. If an individual, say an individual come into the church house and he don't have anything, well, when you're doing church work, you're going to work with him, but you're not going to continue to work with him as long as he's not trying to help himself.
Okay.
See, so you got to put him in a worldly position, whereas you give him a fishing pole and help him to go out, let him go out and try to help himself. But on the same token, you want to put some spiritual concerns within him, where he's not going to look at just being a worldly person. Somebody's got to help him. You know, he's going to have to look at how he can help himself. So those are something. People have a habit of using words like we talked about in the sermon on Sunday. People take words and use those words in one status, but that same word can define many status of how you're looking at things. The other thing is that to all of the callers who are listening to us this morning, this is an open mic situation, and basically what we're talking about is, do Americans care about America?
Right. Do they care about their own self, their own cause?
Yeah, I mean, you got to look at yourself. If you're not putting forth being active toward what you're talking about, see, some people can just talk about what they want to see done. That means that they're living on other people's dream. What's your dream? How do you feel about things in the world? How do you feel things should change? What activity are you putting toward making things change in this world? Are you just putting people in office that's have a lot of ideas, but they don't have no action behind their ideas? If you care about America, you want to see some of those things happen. We have not yet learned to hold people responsible who we commit to office. It's time for a change to take place. You're either going to be a part of the problem or you're going to be a part of the solution. Now, which do you choose today? The opportunity is there for you to give us a call. That number again, Charles, is?
You would tell our listening audience that call your friend, tell them to download their app, www. New Orleans Talk Network. We're on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. Again, call your friend, tell them to download their app. www.New Orleans, that New Orleans Talk Network. We're on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook, and that phone number Dr. William talking about is 1-563-999-1808. I'm gonna repeat that again. 1-563-999-1808. And you can give us a call and tell us how you feel. And Dr. William, I feel like my spirit guide me that people, and most of the people in all over this country, not just in our state and our parish, but everywhere, they only care about what they want. I mean, long as they get what they want, they look the other way. They don't care about a person's upbringing. They don't care about what they do. I know Dr. William, I know you surprised some of the elected officials that they have these days. I mean, as to be elected officials, you almost have to be a criminal now to be. Used to be elected official, you had to have a college degree. You had to. It's a lot of criteria that they had, that you had to be a family man. But now, to be elected official, I mean, it's almost like the guy who can tell the best joke, raise the most money, and have the best sound bites. That's seen as the people that is winning now. Dr. William, I know as a minister, I know
Well,
you.
basically what you're saying is that a person who got a gift of gab,
Yeah.
they're able to use that gift to persuade you to do things, and that's what
Right.
seems like what we fall for. People with a
Right.
gift of gab. We don't worry about them having knowledge or anything, wisdom and understanding. As long as they can get out there and entertain you, go do a second line party and all this kind of stuff, It seems like that's the people that we're more interested in putting in office. But we need to be more interested in putting people in office that has the wisdom, have the knowledge, have the understanding, have the all wit to give something to the community, to cause the community to grow and go in a different direction than the way it's going right now. And I'm not saying it's all bad. There is some good that's coming out of it. But we need to be putting people in office who's going to do something for the state that we're in. People
Right.
who's going to make our life better.
And Dr. William, and you're so right. I mean, when you really look at it, now they do. They do. Dr. William have some people in office that is decent people. They family people. They love their family and they love people, and they is what we consider. I know as a little boy, my grandmother was saying that's a righteous person. Like they got all different words that people use, but I remember my grandmother, she oftentimes would use the word, that's a righteous woman, that's a righteous man, but she also, Dr. William, they don't know how to use these names no more. When she considers somebody crooked that didn't love people, they would call them, that's a snake oil salesman.
Well, they use the same
fall
word
for
that-
the okie dokie with him,
Use the same words that Paul used when they came to his to his meeting, and they were like venomous viper. And when you call a person a venomous viper, that means that if that snake will bite you one time, he shouldn't bite you no more. Unless you
know
stay
he'll
there and
bite.
let him bite you, because you know that snake gonna bite you. There was a joke that the preacher told one time. He said this woman was traveling in the store and she saw this snake down on the ground, and so she rushed down and picked him up. But the snake didn't bite her at first. Till when the snake got warm and got in her house and she rushed to pick him up, he bit her. And the snake, She asked the snake, "Why did you bite me? I've been taking care of you. I've been doing for you." Snake looked at her and told her, "Say, you knew I was a snake when you picked me up."
Yeah.
You know, and so that's what's happening with some of us. We look at people. We know they're deceitful. We know they're dishonest. We know what they're capable of, but we still want to take a chance on them.
Right.
Grant you, some people can change, but it's not all the time that a person will change. We got to go for our next break right now, but we'll be back. So call in. Let us know how you feel. It's open mic. We can talk to you about anything you want to talk to about today. So give us a call.
You are listening and watching Church Without Walls.
Yo, Mob, kick it for me one time.
What is the world coming to? Seems like everyone is.
Are you looking for a home to live stream your next event? Give us a call here at Bethesda Community Event Center, the only place on the Gulf Coast that can host and broadcast live your wedding reception, your baby shower, business seminar, and any other special event. Give us a call at 504-708-9454 for more details.
Yep.
This is Charles Stewart.
And the Reverend Dr. Anthony Williams.
We are Church Without Walls.
And we are here today to give you information that you don't normally get at church.
We come your way every Monday morning, 11 to 12.
Call in with your comment or your questions, and we'll be glad to try and answer them for you. If we don't have the answer today, we will get it to you on a message.
Don't you dare miss it.
The New Orleans Talk Network, now on your mobile device, on your computer, in your ear, and interactive. It's new, it's innovative, and it's on your mobile device. Android, iPhone, iPad, and on your computer. Take us wherever you go. Because we're interactive. 504-341-TALK. That's 504-341-8255.
This program does not reflect the views and opinions of the New Orleans Talk Network. Viewer discretion is advised.
We are back. You are listening and you are watching Church Without Walls. Reverend Dr. Anthony Williams and Charles Stewart. We in the studio of the New Orleans Talk Network every Monday morning, 11 to 12 Central Standard Time. We invite you to call us, as we gave the number out early, 1-563-999-1808. And if you would like to get in on this conversation, you're welcome to call us. And we're talking about, do the people really care about this country, or do they really care about themselves? And as we discussed earlier, it seemed to me people want what they want. I mean, Dr. Williams, if you go through the Bible, you know, you look at reading why a lot of those guys got themselves in trouble because they want what they want. If you go to one of the most, I guess he was the strongest man in the world at the time, besides God, was Samson, huh?
Mm-hmm.
He got in trouble because he wanted what he wanted. And if you go on down the line, you can see many of the great people in the Bible, they end up in trouble because they wanted what they wanted. And that's the way to see the people in the United States. It's amazing to me is that if you...
Well, one of the things you can look at, Charles, is that it's not always sinners who want what they want. There are some Christians who want what they want. Some people God have called want what they want.
Right.
You can take that all the way back to Adam.
Mm-hmm.
Adam was in that garden. God told him, he was given that command not to eat of that tree.
He wanted what he wanted.
Yeah, Eve was right there with him, and we blame Eve for everything that happened, but it is not, the blame don't fall on Eve, it fall on Adam because he was the head.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever you're the head, you're supposed to be concerned about what's happening in the nation, what's happening with the world, what's happening with individuals that are over. The Bible tells you, be careful of those of whom God have made you overseer. That means their sins are upon you. So, some of the individuals who are Christian and who are God worthy, you ought to be paying attention to some of that. When it comes time to vote, the people that you're around, the people that you're associated with, you're responsible for giving them the right communication so that they can make an educated guess, not educated righteousness, be educated righteousness about what they're doing. And when you fail to do that, don't you know that God is holding you responsible? And if you commit to the wrongness that people are doing, you're just as guilty as they are.
Right.
So, we ask the people that are religiously inclined, you know what's right and you know what's wrong because God is in you and he's working with you. Don't lead people astray behind money or power because that's all temporal and it's not going to last for long. It's only going to last for a season. And when that season is over, it's going to come to an end. God will allow that to happen because he have given the authority to make sure that the people are being led in the right way.
Yeah, Dr. William, you're right. But seemed to me the turn, I don't know when it started, but I know as I got older, I noticed Dr. Williams things have changed a lot, and I guess it deal with what the Bible tells us that the world would get wiser, but it would get weak, and we done got so weak. It's incredible. The thing that we stand for that we wouldn't have stood for back in the day when I was a little boy.
When we look back at the past as a little boy coming up, I remember that. The elder people would get on their knees and they would pray at night and ask God to give them the wisdom and the knowledge that they need to make the. They didn't have the education to see what we see now having education, but what they did have was common sense, and they knew that if it was the one person that could help them, it was God, and they depended on God to give them. I talked about it on Sunday. God gave them overnight mail. Y'all know what overnight mail is. That's when your mail comes by night.
Right.
Well, you think about it like this. God would allow the Shekinah glory to come over them. And when the Shekinah glory would come over them, they would go to sleep. But when they woke up, God had superimposed within their mind what he wanted them to tell their people. The leaders, this is the way he worked with them. So I call it overnight mail, where God would give it to you at night while you were sleeping so that when you woke up, he had put it in your mind. And so you could only speak what was in you. People today some of them don't take the time to pray. You get up in the morning, you worry, you're in a hurry, you got to go to work, you're running late, you need to get there on time, you take your lunch. You got a few little minutes for lunch, and you're trying to hurry up and eat your lunch so you can get back to work. Then when you get off, you come home, you're so tired. You're just in a rush about everything. We live like we're in a microwave situation. Everything's got to be fast, fast, fast. Fast food, fast cars. Everything's fast. Slow down. Take your time. Watch what you're doing. Think about what you're doing before you do it, and you won't make so many mistakes.
Yeah, Dr. William, and you're right. And we, these days, Dr. William, you're looking back over my life, and I guess we only can, always believe and talk what I know and what I have, what I experienced in life. Seemed to me that we start off talking about the family values and people wanting what people don't care as long as they get what they want. I remember, from a lad of a boy. I try to wonder, Dr. William, when did things change so much? Because I can remember when as a little boy, it's certain criteria that you had to reach to almost do anything. You couldn't even be so like in the. I think they are saying it's time for a break. If I'm reading the blog
Yeah.
right,
Mm-hmm.
we have to take a break. When we come back, we're gonna talk about the values that we had as we were coming up. I want to share some of the things that I experienced and have seen. But we're gonna take another break. And you are listening and you are watching Church Without Walls in the studios of the New Orleans Talk Network.
Everyone is running from the truth. We just stand up and fight, walk into the light. We're the people, we can do it if we try. I know we can do it. Somebody asked me, why do we have to go through it? It's just a test of our faith. But we're living day to day. We don't know where we're gonna win, but it's coming back again.
About that time.
Choice is up to you.
The New Orleans Talk Network, now on your mobile device, on your computer, in your ear, and interactive. It's new, it's innovative, and it's on your mobile device. Android, iPhone, iPad, and on your computer. Take us wherever you go. Because we're interactive. 504-341-TALK. That's 504-341-8255.
Yep, yep.
This is Charles Stewart.
And the Reverend Dr. Anthony Williams.
We are Church Without Walls.
And we are here today to give you information that you don't normally get at church.
We come your way every Monday morning, 11 to 12.
Call in with your comment or your questions, and we'll be glad to try and answer them for you. If we don't have the answer today, we will get it to you on a message.
Don't you dare miss it.
New year, new show. Hey, what's up, y'all? It's your girl, Dr. Rhonda M. Lawson, and I'm coming back at you with the new year of Horizons with Meet the World Image Solutions. And this year, we're moving to Monday night with brand new exciting guests and engaging literary conversation. And we want our listening audience to be there with us because this is going to be a year you will not forget. Catch us every Monday night, 7 p.m., right here on the New Orleans Talk Network. And you can also reach us on the Meet the World Image Solutions Facebook page, the Meet the World Image Solutions YouTube page, and we're on Podbean, iTunes, and Google Play. So catch us every Monday night, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. See you there.
This program does not reflect the views and opinions of the New Orleans Talk Network. Viewer discretion is advised.
I know we can do it. Somebody asked me, why do we have to go through it? It's just a test of our faith.
Then the parents will come in and talk with them.
We are back. You are listening. You are watching Church Without Walls, the studios of the New Orleans Talk Network. We invite you to download the app. Tell your friend to download the app, www. New Orleans Talk Network. And you can reach us at 1-563-99-1808. Before we took a break, Dr. William and I, we were talking about the family values, and the topic of the show: do the people in America, do they care about this country, or they only care about getting what they want? And before we took a break, I was talking to Dr. William and talking to y'all also about where did we go wrong at, as far as our family values back in the little days. And Dr. William, I can remember as a little boy, if you want to be a leader in the community, you were like vetted, like you just couldn't make yourself a leader. the people had to pick who they would vote on, who they thought that was the best leader, who had the best understanding, who was, and the old people would always say, he said, like they would say, Brother William, Brother William, he close to God. We know he can get to God. We know he can get a prayer through. You know, you had those kind of conversations, but, you know, now, Real, it's, you know, like, I don't know when it started, but the world now is predicated upon a sound vice, who sound good. You know, it used to be, when I was a little boy, Real, I mean, I'm more sure it was when you were small, when, say you were going to get a pastor of a church, they would vet that pastor. And most likely that pastor, you know, when you look at his resume, Dr. William, he would be a young man that they read his resume, they say he was in the Sunday school, then he started teaching Sunday school, then from the Sunday school he was in the choir a little while, then he ended up on the deacon board, then he was called into the ministry, and he was associate minister for so many years. Now he's the pastor, but somewhere down the line, you didn't need that resume no more. All you had to do was have a sound voice. Now, when you hear him introduce a preacher now, they was saying, say Reverend Bo Diddley, he got shot 25 times, car ran over him, and he's a drug dealer. He spent 25 years in jail, and he pastor now. You know, years ago, not say like God, a person that came up in church. Now, everybody came up to a church, they ain't exactly a good person. You know, let's make that straight. But the resume changed from being a leader and a pastor to now, say a con man. Now, if you was a con man, if you can convince somebody that they give you 50 cents, and you can take that 50 cents, they're going to turn into $50, he got to pack out. That's all you need to do to be a pastor these days.
Well, everybody, even the Bible tell you, many are called, but few are chosen.
Yeah.
And so you have to stop and look at what constitutes being a pastor. A pastor have to have the mannerism, the character, and the behavior of Jesus Christ. They've got to conduct themselves the way Jesus conducted himself while he came here. The priests who were in charge at that time, they felt that if someone came teaching something other than what they were teaching, the Pharisees, the scribes, and whatnot, they decided to kill Jesus because Jesus was not conforming to what they were doing. So everybody that comes up to be a pastor, their resume may give you evidence that they have the ability to be a pastor. But pastors are called by God. He said, I will give you pastors after my own heart. That means that people that will love God, love man. Because if you remember, Jesus said even to his disciples, y'all been trying to live by 10 commandments, but all the 10 commandments does is point out another person's sin. It's not designed for reconciliation. It's designed, the thinking that you have is designed for separation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you 10 commandments. I'm going to give you 2 commandments. And those 2 commandments are going to sum up the 10 commandments. All I want you to do is love God and love man. He said, if you can do that, then you've completed the whole law of the 10 commandments. So you don't have no reason, I don't need you to point my sins out to me. I already know that I've committed a sin because I did them. So all I need you to do is try and help me to regress from where I have progressed to. I don't know if that makes sense to anybody out there who's listening to us. But,
you know something, Rev? Now, people might be wondering why, if, why we are having the conversation we're having right now. And, our topic was, do people love the country, love the country? Reason why Dr. Williams saying what he's saying, because we're trying to get people focused back on a basic foundation where they need to be. Then they can try to learn how to love this country.
Well, you can't love me unless you first love yourself.
Right. You got to love God. That's mandatory.
See? And I think what we must realize is that when Jesus got ready to leave here, and you got to remember that Jesus is God. When he got ready to leave, he says, when I leave, y'all going to become perplexed, disturbed, and everything else. He said, but I don't want you to be comfortless.
Yeah.
So I'm going to send what walk with you back to walk on the inside of you with you.
Right.
And that's my knowledge, my wisdom, and my understanding is going to be within you. So every time you got a problem, I don't want you to go looking in West Rigo or Marrero for it. I want you to look inside of you because it's in you. An old lady once told me one time, she said, baby, she said, what you looking for? I said, I'm looking for, I want to be rich. I want to be not having to worry about anything. She said, well, look inside of you. I said, well, why am I looking inside of me? She said, everything that you're looking for is in the earth. I said,
Yeah.
I don't understand that. She said, everything, she said, what are you made from? I said, made from the dust of the ground.
Mm-hmm.
She said, what were you created from? I said, I was created spirit. She said, well, God put a spirit on the inside of you. And that spirit is in a clear vessel. The pot may get cracked, but the treasure won't be home. And that stuck with me all of these years. I always think about that. Whenever I try to do something, I always think about what's on the inside of me. And if you let what's on the inside of you work with you, we get in the part where we say we're working for Jesus. We're not working for Jesus. We're working with Jesus because he's on the inside of us.
And Dr. William, and that's why we trying to get our listening audience to understand is that Beijing is a foundation that you have to stand on, and that foundation, you know, like they say, the Bible tells us a house on a shaky foundation ain't gonna stand. So if you got the right foundation, it'll stand. And where we're going with this is that our leader is got us on shaky foundation, because I see many pastors, many pastors, and I say many pastors, African American, Caucasian, whatever, Hispanic pastor, they is not leading God people right because they only want what they want. I mean, they turn their head the other way when, I see some pastors, they tell, I seen one pastor, Dr. William, I had to laugh at him. He came to some kind of event, and he seen another brother dance, and he said, man, that's not godly for the person of God to be dancing. I said, well, Rabbi, I said, you don't think you know all your Bible, because I say in the book of Psalms, sure they did up some dancing, all through song. But the key part, what got me though, Dr. William, this same pastor told me they supposed to dancing. I seen him with the mayor. I mean, he was doing flip-flop dancing, So everybody wants what they want when they want it, Dr. William. But the bottom line is,
some of us are standing on a shaky foundation, as Deacon Charles said a few minutes ago. We're standing on a shaky foundation. Now, the only foundation that you should be standing on is the one that was laid by Jesus Christ.
Right.
If you're standing on that foundation, it's a strong foundation. Understand that you're going to be tempted. Pastor's going to be tempted. Parishioners going to be tempted. Individuals are going to be tempted. And I have a problem with some things because people say the Bible contradicts itself. And I happened to be talking with a pastor one time, and he said, well, Reverend William, he said God tempted Abraham. And I think for a while. And I said to him, well, Doc, see, words in Hebrew and words in Greek and words in English sometimes can lead you to have a different definition of things. So when I went looking in the commentaries to find out different definition of the word, I found a word called nasal. Now the word nasal is Hebraic, but what it doesn't say is that it doesn't use the word tempt as it used the word tempt in the Garden of Eden. So to go back to understand that, make a long story short, what I found out that the word nasal means to prove or to test. So God wasn't tempting Abraham, because when I got to the New Testament, it said, let no man say when he's tempted of God. Well, that will make you think that there's a contradiction there. But it's not a contradiction. It's the use of the word and how it was used in the expression of what the person was talking about at the time. So if the word tempt is used in the New Testament as to test or to prove, then he says, let no man say when he's tempted of God. But God wasn't tempting Abraham. He was proving Abraham, because he wanted Abraham to see that he was making him a father of a nation. That was the first thing. He said, but Abraham, if I'm going to make you the father of many nations or all nations, then I got to prove you and test you to make sure that you're able and capable of handling the authority that I'm going to put in your hand. Now, some of the leaders, God may have called them to be leaders, but when they're using that authority that God have put in their hand to hinder or to cause corruption in the minds of the people, then that's causing, they're straying away from God. Make it plain and simple.
Right.
And some of us are going to be like David. God's spirit was taken, not David, Saul. God's spirit was taken from Saul. David had to play the harp in order for him to have peace. So you've got to be thinking about what you're fixing to do before you do it. You know, I've watched some pastors, and some pastors I enjoy listening to them, because when you can listen to a pastor and get a word from the pastor to give to the people, then that's something that you need to be paying particular attention to. Our leaders today, just because they hold the highest office in the land don't mean that they're right. And unless individuals who know that they're wrong and who participate in the wrongness that they're doing, God is watching them, and he's saying, you're just as guilty as they are, because you're going along with them. You're saying amen to everything that they say.
Yeah.
So we as individuals have to learn how to stop saying amen to what somebody is saying. We have to have God put in us. He put himself in us, so we have to let him work in us, and we work along with him to do the right thing for the community and for the people.
Right, and Dr. William, and something you and I had talked about before, the values that the African American had, a thing that we had as we came up, the value we had that everybody, it was like a family. Like we had dinner at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
We ate at, all of us had lunch at the same time, dinner. Mother and father made sure that before you went to bed, they would watch you get on your knees and say your prayer and thank God. And they want to hear you say, forgive us this day our daily bread. They want to sometimes make you say that out loud. And those values come up in you, and as you get older, you learn, even if you told a lie, you was conscious of it. You said, oh, Lord, forgive me, I lied, Lord. But now people, they go by now, Dr. William, on who can tell the best lie. And one other thing that you said, Dr. William, that a lot of African Americans not paying attention to these days is that the values that we had, that we you brought that to my attention, Dr. William, the values that we had as young African American kids coming up, we done got away from them, lost the foreigners have them now.
Yeah, well, you figure when I used to sell, I was selling insurance, and one of the things I observed as I went into some of the foreigners that came over here was that they had 3 families staying in one house, and they had a time for everything to be done. Just like when we were young African American, there was a time for us to be done, things to be done that we should do, and our parent had that in time. There was a time for you to go to bed. There was a time for you to eat. There was a time for you to pray. That the parent would have their time after everybody else was in the bed. They could have their time to spend together. But we've lost those family values, and people are wondering what have happened to us as a people. Well, what have happened is that we've lost those family values, and we have to start doing something to retrieve what we have lost. When we were coming up, our parent was so strict and hard on us until we couldn't afford to go wrong. There was no room for us to go wrong. Mm-hmm. You knew what was going to happen when you strayed away from the instructions that had been given to you. We lost that. We came up, we was saying, I'm not going to be as hard on my children as my parent was on me. But guess what? Your parent never had to come get you out of jail.
Right.
You know, if you got in, you might have got in some trouble, but it wasn't something that the police had to arrest you or something like that. But we took that restriction away from our children. When we took that restriction away from the children started doing what they want to do, and we failed to be able to control them. When you got a house and a child can come in your house and tell you, you can't go in my room, my daddy would have told me, boy, stop. Where your house at? You working? Well, don't stand in my house and tell me where I can't go. I'm going to go wherever I want in this house. Not only that, ain't going to be no 2 men in one house. There's only going to be 1 man in this house and 1 woman.
Yeah.
Those are family values that we've lost.
Yep.
So our children, at this point, doing what they want to do because they feel they're big enough and they're bad enough, and you don't have no right to tell me nothing. I have a right to live my life the way I want to live it. You better correct that. If you want to build a house on a solid foundation, build it on the foundation that Jesus laid. For no other foundation can any man lay except that which have already been laid. Are y'all hearing me?
And Dr. William, you're so right, because these young kids these days, you never dreamed that that you would see young kids 12 years old being handcuffed, breaking in cars. I mean, it's just done got out of hand. But we got to take our last break for the day. You are listening, you are watching Church Without Walls in the studios of the New Orleans Talk Network. Your host is Dr. Anthony Williams and Charles Stewart. We'll be right back.
Yo, Mob, kick it for me one time.
Here at Jones Insurance, your full-service agency, let us take care of all your insurance needs. We provide homeowners insurance, flood, rental, commercial, auto, and life insurance. Don't let the unexpected tragedy destroy your family's future. Here at Jones Insurance, 7603 West Bank Expressway, Monroe, Louisiana, 772. Contact Lois at 504-348-1492.
Hi, I'm Prophetess Charlene Duforce.
And I'm Bishop Carol Duforce Sr.
And we're from Living Witnesses Ministries.
And we also have a program on the internet called Living by the Word Daily. And we're seen every Wednesday from 11 a.m. to 12 noon Central Time on the New Orleans Talk Network.
And we would like to invite you to tune in with us every Wednesday morning. Again, 11 to 12 noon Central Daylight Time. Please join us as we teach the Word of God. Thank you, and God bless.
God bless you.
Listen up. Your customers,
Our listeners could be hearing about your business right now. Yeah, right now. Don't miss out on the opportunity to advertise with NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. Call our business department today at 504-475-4793 to hear about our great rates. NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. We provide the people, you provide the business.
This program does not reflect the views and opinions of the New Orleans Talk Network. Viewer discretion is advised.
And we are back. You are listening, you are watching Church Without Walls in the studios up in New Orleans Talk Network. Dr. Anson William and Charles Stewart, we here every Monday morning, 11 to 12. We doing the work that we think the Lord will want us to do. We kind of show our brother and our loved one that we love you, regardless who you are. Dr. William and myself, we love you. And, you know, and Dr. William, our listeners may not realize it, but we have to love them regardless, because God said, how can you love me whom you have never seen? And you don't love the brother who you can see. So I'm saying to everybody, black, white, green, or red, I love you, I love you. And Dr. Williams said sometime ain't nothing you can do about that when somebody loves you. So we here every Monday. If you ask Dr. Williams a question and myself, if we can give you an answer, when you call us, we guarantee you we have the answer for next week. Now, you can't beat that.
And I'll tell you what. If you got a question and you're ashamed to call on the show, put it in writing. Send it to a letter to 7601 West Bank Expressway in care of Dr. Williams. And when we get on the show, I won't call your name, but I'll read your question and I'll try to give you an answer to the question that you're asking. You know, it doesn't matter whether it's biblical or whether it's literary. However whatever question you address to me, I'll try to get the answer to it. If I can't get the answer, I'll tell you outright on the show, Doctor, your question that you asked me, I haven't gotten the answer yet, but I'm still working on it, and I'll try to get the answer for you.
And also, Dr. Williams, that you can call the producer, Mike, and you can leave it at you can leave with the program director. He would put it on the blog. We'll be glad to answer your question, whether you're male or female, you know. And Dr. William, we don't have too much time left in the program, but I just like for our listening audience, Dr. William, to know that we living in a time now, as I said earlier, that the Bible said that the world would get wiser, but we would get weak, and we done felt very, in my opinion, and I put myself a part of it, that we've been weak by a lot of stuff we see happening. I get called, and I wish to God I could help people. I got called over the weekend, got called this morning. People want to know, say they're going to close the school down in my neighborhood. What can I do about it? And when you could have did something about it, you didn't do it. When you should have went and voted, you didn't vote. So I wish that I could do something to help you, but it's only so much that Dr. Williams can do and I can do. But I would tell the people, everything is a wake-up call. I mean, they from Washington, D.C., here in the state of Louisiana, it's a problem. Everywhere you look, it's a problem. But is the people ever going to wake up? I was looking at one of those shows that come on, late-night shows, and they got this Jimmy Kendall, I think his name. He have the talk show on ABC, and once a month he goes out into the community, and Dr. Williams, he interview people, and he asked them, said, the president just took in order so-and-so to be took out. And they said, I don't know. And they said, he should deal with the president. Really. He asked them questions that some of those would be college kids, teachers, some of them. And it's amazing, you know, like he asked some questions that don't even exist. Like today, the Prince of Africa is going to blow up his country. What do you think about it? And they said, that's so sad, you know?
Well, you got to remember, Charles, some of that went on in the days of Christ. A lawyer came to him and asked him a question. The Pharisees came to him and asked him a question, but it was all designed to trick him into saying, to answering them in a way that it would affect his credibility.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes people will put you in a position where even if you talk against it, it's going to be detrimental to you. If you talk for it, it's going to be detrimental to you because it's going to have people thinking about what you said. But what I would like to say before this program ends is that we'll be eligible to try and give you a answer to any questions that you would want to address to us. So please, sir, please, ma'am, put it in writing, send it to us. You can send it to Dr. Williams or Dr. Charles, Deacon Charles, at 7601 West Bank Expressway. We'll read it over the air. If we don't have an answer for it, I'll tell you I don't have it now, but we'll still be working on trying to get it for you. So please, 7601 West Bank Expressway. Please, ma'am, please, sir, address it to Deacon Charles or Dr. Williams, and we'll be glad to try and answer those questions for you. That may be a way we can get people to start calling into the show and addressing certain questions that we're talking about.
And we also, before we close out today, we want to congratulate those that won Oscar last night, and well, we want to say to the country next week, Dr. William, we're going to be talking about, we're going to give you our views on the upcoming election next week, about well, we know that definitely that Donald Trump will be the Republican nomination, but we don't know who from the Democratic side. And we're going to be talking about next week about those candidates, and any of those candidates that they see that they got running, as I see that at least the top 4 or 5 that running, I don't see either one of them beating Donald Trump. So we want to get your view on that next week. That's what we're going to talk about next week, unless there's something else come up, but the news change every day. But anyway, Dr. William, we're going to close out by saying next week that what we're going to talk about. And we certainly hope you have a beautiful and a wonderful, fantastic week.
And remember, there's no such thing as being half dead.
If you're dead, you're dead. Love y'all. See y'all next week.
Yo, Mob, kick it for me one time.
What is the world coming to? Seems like everyone is
To the forefront.